Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I am your host, Zen Sams. Now, coming up in our Crypto Frontier segment brought to us by CCPDigital, we are joined by Chris Pulley, who serves as CEO of CCPDigital. Now, CCPDigital is a decade-old digital advertising agency with very unique access and knowledge in the blockchain and cryptocurrency industries. Chris and his team offer a definite competitive advantage as we enter this era of Web3. Today, he's joined by Ricci Rukavina, a former TV and film executive, started Disney's mobile division, and then moved on with gaming company Kung Fu Factory with success titles like Adventure Time, WWE, and Hotel Transylvania. Today, we're chatting Metaverse, Microverse, and Makerverse. Lots of verses. Now, as they get settled into the broadcast room, let's lay this out. Now, upon entering macroverse.com or macroverse.world, you're going to enter a platform built out to impress, an ecosystem that is gamified with unique NFT utility and special attributes. You're going to experience digital comics, collectibles, and storytelling on the blockchain, where one can buy, sell, and trade unique digital art collections directly on their Macroverse platform. It's laced with top artists and creators. Now, their current NFT picture series is Dead Town, and you can find that on macroverse.com, where you can create unique NFT avatars that you build and own. And the specifics are really up to you. One can fully customize avatars from eyes, teeth, hair, hat. All of it gets chosen during the minting process by essentially you. And we're talking about decentralized content combined with Web3 storytelling, topped off with participation rewards. It doesn't get any better. And here to chat some more and answer my questions are Ricci and Chris. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, Zen, thank you. Nice to be here.
Awesome. Ricci, I'm going to start with you. So after years of experimentation and prototyping to find the right format, you launched Macroverse app back in 2019, and it's grown to over 100 creators, right? Making over 50 series and more than 500 episodes of content. I can't even keep up. Cut to the exploding moment when we bumped into the world of NFTs and blockchain. And that's where you launched Makerverse, which is the marketplace to sell, buy, and trade these NFTs. Talk to us about the marriage of Macroverse and Makerverse.
Sure. Well, thanks again for having us. Really appreciate being here. The idea is, how can we as creators make something that's for creators? So the more that we can build a community around that, where it's creators first. The idea is that, there's so many different horror stories in business, whether it's movie studios or television studios or whatever, where creators kind of get cut out of things. We wanted to really just do things from the very beginning, where creators really get a say in everything that they get to do. And as we bumped into NFTs and blockchain and all of that, that became so much easier for us to be able to have a platform where everything's accounted for, and that we make it easy to get their content, whether it's a story or an NFT that becomes a story, or an NFT that becomes a story that becomes a game. All along the process and the chain, that's the type of thing that we've built over the past decade, if not 2 decades. So we all, me and my 2 founders, Adam and Eben, we've definitely have a lot of experience working, not only building these things ourselves, but what are the frustrations that creators have? What are the frustrations that collectors have, right? We're primarily a comic book platform for NFTs, but it starts with PFP avatars and then goes to comic books and then goes to games. But a frustration is when my mom threw out my comic book collection. I don't have to worry about that anymore. A frustration is when, I created an idea that got maybe stolen by somebody else. I don't have to worry about those types of things anymore. And it's really creators working with other creators, for creators, by creators. It's very creator centric.
I love it.
That's the idea.
And you're right, because there's a bunch of NFT platforms, but they cater really to fine arts and crypto artists, and that's amazing. But to your point, what about comics and creators, writers, character designers, animators, right? Game designers, all the people who play in the storytelling process and in the storytelling world. And of course, a former Disney executive would be at the forefront of this platform. So I take my hat off to you, Ricci.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, yeah, there's also kind of a limitation there with fine art, who I'm a big street art collector, so I love street art and love fine art, but there's a limitation there
Yes.
that I think, over time, and then, the media just has absolutely pounced on this opportunity to make fun of NFT, to make fun of these high, enormous values without really focusing on the utility of blockchain, the utility of collectability, the utility of collecting a comic book or being a creator that can actually track their royalties and revenue sources. Because so rather than the joke, we're really focused on the long-term aspects of creation, accounting, utility, the usefulness of it. And at the end of the day, creating amazing stories and
Yes.
amazing content.
And
Who
that's
knows?
where you have Chris, the expert. Chris, welcome back.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me again.
You got it, buddy. So let's dive into making people feel really comfortable with platforms, because that, with all the regulations and all the horror stories you hear, there's a lot going on. Now, Ethereum blockchain, which is currently the most common blockchain for minting NFTs, doesn't have a mechanism for distinguishing between possessing a token and owning it, right? So if someone steals your bicycle, it's generally understood that the bike is still yours. With an NFT, the owner is whoever has the token in their wallet. So if someone's ape NFT gets stolen via a phishing scam, the blockchain treats the thief as the new owner. This puts the power to determine real ownership, not in the NFT itself, but in the hands of the marketplaces that trade them. Talk to me about Macroverse as the primary marketplace and the connectivity offered within the ecosystem that is basically ensuring a safe and seamless experience.
Wow. It's almost as if it's another question for Ricci, as he's really been the spearhead and the idea behind taking what they've been building for years on their experiences and talents, and then really having a heart for the creator community to launch a safe environment altogether. So to speak to that, the security component, it's amazing. As you said that out loud, it's as if you have the title and the vehicle all together when you own the NFT, and so it definitely creates some new thoughts. The idea, though, that they've done such an amazing job of taking their time, not going to some kind of gold rush of NFTs, but really have slowed down. They were ready to launch a year ago from a creator and platform perspective, but they took their time to integrate to Web3 and to take security very seriously, and to make sure that the community has the tools that they need to be successful. Ricci's made it, and it's his heart to help, and Eben and Adam's heart to help that community get the tools they need, because it's already hard to be a creator and make a living or have the kind of success. And so the tools they're providing and the value that's being provided in the entertainment and the fun. I've got videos of my kids creating the PFP avatars. And I mean, you talk about just giggling and laughing along the way. And they're just so excited. Now how do we access the comic? And so all of this is brand new. This is really a coming out party. We'll be attending many conferences this year, and I believe the next conference here at NFT LA is going to be really an unveiling.
And Ricci, essentially what you are, from what I'm understanding, what you are building is a new kind of media studio, really designed for the era of Web3, where when I was reading through the website, essentially every drop from every Macroverse world will actually reward collectors and holders and the participants with this expanding set of perks, which is beautiful to see. Now, when the minting window closes, attributes will be revealed, which I find amazing. Rarity will be determined. Quantity will be locked, and we're going to discover this horde of zombies, and we're going to discover what they look like all together. Now, verifying ownership of an asset at the point of which it is minted onto an NFT is more of a social problem, really, than a technical one. It's hard to do through code alone. What do you say to this?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things wrapped into there. I mean, number one, the idea of rewards, right? My background, is making games, and I think making games. I've made movies, I've made games, and now I'm making NFT blockchain content. There's nothing harder than making games because they have to be there are financial transactions involved, which need to be secure. There's hacking that gets involved so that your account doesn't get hacked. There's there's a tutorial. It has to lead people in. You have analytics. You have to run live events. And there's so much to it. But what's great about all of that knowledge is that's what we're taking to Macroverse, right? So that whole layer of, for an overused word is gamification, but being able to reward people for being with us early and also for getting in at, whenever they tend to get in so that they get these amazing traits revealed, so that they get this amazing content and that they feel like, wow, I wish I would have gotten that, way early. But, what we hope we're creating is this HBO of the future, this Marvel of the future, where everybody, the creators, get a piece, and even the people that collect can get involved in the community to tell stories, to the type of attributes that they get, to the type of artwork that we create is one aspect of it. And then the security aspect of it, look, that's always going to be an ongoing thing. Every time that you hear about any kind of system or platform that gets created, somebody finds a way to break it, right? So your job as a creator, as a platform provider, as a technology studio is to constantly secure and make people feel safe and feel comfortable. And I think you can really only do that if you're always, I think your intention and where you start, your endeavor, whether it's a company or whether it's a product or anything, it's what's the root, what's the seed level of what you're creating. Because if you're not very intentional that you want people to feel that their assets are secure and it's like an afterthought, then you're always going to be chasing that. They're always going to have this pretty weak tree trunk, so to speak, as opposed to this oak. So we take it pretty seriously, but at the same time, it's just one of those things that from a technology standpoint, a platform standpoint, that we think about, okay, each time that we're making an iteration of the platform, what else is out there? What are people doing? What are the things that we've heard of that we need to be aware of, either that are nefarious or that are positive?
Now we have
about what we do.
I don't want to cut you. We have about a minute and a half left, and I want to try to get one more question in there, and kind of either to you or Chris. But essentially, it goes back to the marketplaces and the exchanges. Like the main people who are winning are the exchanges and the marketplaces because they're taking transaction fees, service fees, percent cut royalties. They're the people who are actually making money hand over fist. In theory, marketplaces like OpenSea and Rarible offer free NFT minting for artists, but this comes with some caveats. For starters, the NFT itself won't be created until someone buys it. The minting fee is also passed on to the buyer, which raises the buy-in price for any transaction. And since gas fees fluctuate over time, even the cost of conducting the transaction can be hard to predict. How is Microverse different in under a minute? And then we'll cut to a commercial break and continue the conversation.
How is Macroverse different? We are different in that, technologically and in our smart contract, we've actually done some pretty amazing stuff where we can make the fees much lower. And that's a proven thing. Everybody that's using our platform has commented to us, how are your fees so low? It's just, we have some pretty smart people working with us that have done this a couple of times. It's not their first rodeo, so to speak. And so we do everything we can to get those fees extremely low. And we're probably lower than anything trading on the market right now.
I love it. I love it. This is a great company. We're going to come back to it with more from Chris Pulley at CCPDigital and Ricci Rukavina from Macroverse World. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WR, the voice of New York. Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now we're continuing our conversation with Chris Pulley, who serves as CEO at CCPDigital, and Ricci Rukavina, who is the founder of Macroverse.com. Today, we are chatting about where we are headed as there are new platforms available for all you creators out there. Ricci, nice to have you back. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Great to be here, Zen.
we just finished off a conversation right before our commercial break where we were talking about how Macroverse is different with respect to the fees and how it parlays directly to the users and wallet. And you had given us an answer with respect to it being very, very low. You want to pick that back up? And then, Chris, I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. I'll pick back up at that level. Is that, or are you taking?
Yeah, Chris, go for it.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Again, thanks for having us. You know, the conversations around fees and around blockchain and from my vision of the industry, it is just a very short-lived conversation in general. Macroverse and Ricci and his team are already looking at advanced technologies that we're seeing in action that is going to make the blockchain component agnostic in the very near future. And so the idea around the fees or the transaction fees, et cetera, you know, are applicable, say now, but 30 days, they may not be. 60 days, they may not be as applicable because of the technologies that Ricci's already deployed that's lowered the gas fees tremendously on the Ethereum blockchain. But I know that the plans are a cross operability marketplace in the future that really allows for the ability to mint on whichever platform is right for the creator. And so that's exciting as we see a near-term future coming where the general public won't have to jump the hoops and have the wallets and all of the you know, the different things that it takes to successfully navigate Web3 today. It's right around the corner. Today, Macroverse is serving the traditional blockchain NFT community that knows how to navigate. And boy, those people that can are early adopters. I'm awful excited for them because of where Macroverse is heading. And for the retail audience that just wants to get the content because it's amazing collectible content, the ability to transact without needing all of the Web3 components is literally around the corner. And so we're just so excited to offer something and reveal what's been worked on for so long to the, you know, the Web3 enthusiasts, the crypto enthusiasts, because they're early adopters and they're going to see high value of what's being brought to market and seeing that there's a mass market opportunity that's right around the corner. And it's not a project looking to build out a content or a story. It's a project that has dozens of franchises completed, ready to let the world see it get revealed. And we're at the tip of the spear with Dead Town's PFP.
Yeah, maybe one thing just to jump in and add to that is that, you know, before CryptoPunks was CryptoPunks, it was really CryptoPunks. And what that means is it was just a project that people thought was cool and nobody really knew anything about it, and they got in. And now, you know, the people that got in pretty early, they're pretty happy about that. They have a piece of collectible art that's part of history and that has a lot of value. It's, to a certain extent, we have the same approach in that, you know, look, we're not trying to do some quick flip. We have, you know, many, you know, over a couple dozen different projects that are going. Like you said, we have 100 creators, 50 different episodes that are, you know, 2 episodes a week. There's lots of content there. And as creators, as collectors, well, how can we make it cheap? You know, how do we get those gas fees down? Because gas fees suck. So we worked on that. How do we make it so that, you know what, if you get a Dead Town now, you're going to get something early because we have a lot of runway. We've executed on roadmaps, you know, for many, many years before. So you're going to get some amazing content. And so, you know, in a way, when you believe in something like a CryptoPunks or like a Macroverse or like a Dead Town, you get in early and you believe in it. Typically, you end up being somebody that benefits from that, not just financially, but also as a collector. You know, anybody that has a Batman comic from, you know, 1930s or 40s or 50s or whenever it was there, they're doing, they're pretty happy with it. It's probably changed hands multiple times.
It scores. And you know what, circling back to your Dead Town profile NFT, I mean, it does, you guys are starting with this collection of these Zed avatars, and then you're going to be essentially launching new characters, worlds, and stories building from comics to animation, to games, to film. You vacillate in between television. You cover it all. And it's truly a new model for what I like to call EDPD, entertainment creation, development, production, and distribution. And being in the industry and seeing the gap in the market, this is truly very proprietary. Essentially, this is the behind the scenes platform.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you describe it. And that's exactly it. Is, Hollywood is very notoriously difficult to get into. You may have a screenplay, and many people do. It's very hard to get it to the right person. Getting into the game industry also, it used to be a little easier. Now it's pretty hard. You have to work your way up as a tester, testing the same game for 3,000, 30,000 hours, which sounds fun, but trust me, it gets pretty old pretty quick. So here we're created a way in which people get in the inside with quote unquote insiders.
Yeah. And it already lays out like a Hollywood story. I mean, this Dead Town story, I love it. This neo-noir crime zombie adventure. It's really the finest film noir of traditions. I mean, to follow a classic anti-hero in a post-apocalyptic war overrun by zombies, I feel like I'm living it now with the current administration and the pandemic.
Yeah, right? Yeah, aren't we all?
All I know is I've always been on the business side in whatever industry I'm serving. I just feel so fortunate to be with the cool kids, and when we talk about these communities and these other NFT successful launches, just as Ricci explained, it's about that community. And when I met Ricci and Adam and Eben, and you look at their histories and their experiences, it doesn't get any cooler to be with a community that's supporting the creators, mentoring the creators, pulling the curtains back, teaching everybody how it works, allowing people to create characters and have the opportunity to enter your character into the storyline and benefit from revenues in the future. It's almost like choose your own story backwards, as you're literally...
Yeah, you're reverse engineering this. I love it. It's beautiful. And now we are officially out of time, but we'll definitely have Ricci right back because it was a great segment. And Chris, I always love talking with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zen. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Guys, you're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WR, the voice of New York. That was Ricci Rukavina from Macroverse.com and Chris Pulley from CCPDigital. Now, the extreme technical nature of how NFTs, blockchains, and cryptocurrencies work means that it's easy to simplify the explanation of the tech to the point of being misleading. So we have to tackle this with the understanding that no explanation, no matter how in-depth, can ever be totally comprehensive. But with that in mind, a great place to start and trust is definitely Macroverse.com. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WR, the voice of New York.